I lived in a house where I was treated like a maid, not a wife. My husband, Tyler, and his mother saw me as nothing more than a servant. One day, Tyler laughed, saying, "Let the housekeeper do the unpacking. We're going out for lunch." His mother giggled in agreement. Their words crushed me. I had sacrificed everything for this family, yet they never appreciated me. But I had a plan. I couldn't keep living like this. I had been silent for too long. It was time to fight back. I had a secret that would change everything. When I first married Tyler, he was kind and caring. He helped with housework, planned dates, and always made me feel special. We would talk about our future, dreaming of a happy life together. But as time passed, things changed. He stopped helping at home, became distant, and treated me as if I was beneath him. "Housework is a woman's duty," he snapped whenever I asked for help. I tried to ignore the hurt, hoping things would improve. But deep inside, I knew better. The man I had married was no longer the same. He had become a stranger. Even though we both worked full-time, I was the only one responsible for house chores. No matter how exhausted I was after a long day at work, I had to come home and cook, clean, and do laundry. Tyler would return home, shower, and relax on the sofa. "Is dinner ready yet?" he'd ask impatiently. He never once considered that I, too, was tired. I wanted to argue, but I bit my tongue. I hoped he would see how unfair it was. But nothing changed. Each day, I felt more like a maid and less like his wife. If Tyler's behavior wasn't bad enough, his mother made things worse. She visited often, acting as if she owned our home. She never offered help or a kind word. Instead, she criticized everything I did. "You're not taking care of my son properly," she sneered one day. "No wonder he's so unhappy." I swallowed my anger. She rarely visited her sick husband in the hospital, but she had time to boss me around. It was clear where Tyler had learned his selfish ways. His mother treated me like a servant, and Tyler encouraged it. I was done being silent. One night, after another exhausting day, I came home and found Tyler asleep on the sofa. His shirt reeked of perfume. Women's perfume. My hands trembled as I picked up the shirt. There were lipstick stains on the collar. My breath caught in my throat. I had suspected it for months, but now I had proof. Tyler was cheating. My heart ached, but not from love. It was the pain of betrayal. I had given my everything to this marriage, and he had thrown it away. I clenched the shirt in my fists. I refused to cry. I needed revenge. Instead of confronting him right away, I decided to be smart. The next day, I hired a private investigator. Within days, he handed me undeniable proof. Photos of Tyler and another woman walking together, smiling, touching. But the real shock came when I learned who she was. She wasn't just any woman. She was the wife of his boss. I sat in silence, staring at the photos. Tyler had no idea the disaster he was walking into. I smiled for the first time in weeks. I had all the proof I needed. Now, I just had to wait. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Tyler's mother arrived with a suitcase. "Now that my husband is gone, I'll be living here," she announced. My stomach twisted in anger. Tyler didn't even ask for my opinion. "This is already decided," he said. "She'll help with the housework." I nearly laughed. She had never lifted a finger in her life. I knew what this meant: more work, more disrespect. But I stayed calm. Let them think they had control. Soon, they would realize how wrong they were. My plan was already in motion. They just didn't know it yet. The next morning, I overheard them talking. "It's great having a housekeeper," Tyler joked. "She does everything." His mother giggled in agreement. I stood frozen, my hands shaking with rage. I had endured so much. They thought I was weak. They thought I would always stay silent. But they were wrong. My patience had run out. My revenge was set. They had no idea that everything they valued was about to crumble before their eyes. I smiled to myself. They had treated me like nothing. Now they would see what it felt like to lose everything. That afternoon, Tyler and his mother left for lunch, expecting me to unpack all her things. Instead, I spoke to the movers. I gave them a new address, his mistress's house. When they returned home, their belongings were gone. Tyler looked around in confusion. "Where's our stuff?" he demanded. I smirked. "I sent it to where it belongs, your lover's house." His mother gasped. Tyler's face turned pale. "You didn't," he whispered. "Oh, I did," I said, crossing my arms. "And that's not all. There's more." Before Tyler could speak, I threw the photos on the table. "Don't bother lying," I said. He picked them up, his hands trembling. His mother turned to him in horror. "You cheated?" she yelled. "With a married woman?" Tyler stammered, but there was no excuse. "This is just the beginning," I continued. "Your boss knows. Your job, gone. Your reputation, destroyed." His mother looked furious. "Tell me this is a joke," she screamed. But it wasn't a joke. It was justice. As if on cue, Tyler's phone rang. It was his boss. He hesitated, then answered. "You're fired," his boss said coldly. "Don't ever come back." The call ended. Tyler stood in shock. His mother gripped his arm. "What do we do now?" she whispered. I took a step forward, my voice firm. "You leave. This house? It's mine." They both turned to me in disbelief. "No, this is Tyler's house," his mother yelled. I laughed. "Wrong. I paid for it. I own it, and I'm selling it." With no choice left, Tyler signed the divorce papers. He looked at me with pleading eyes. "Please don't do this," he begged. "I can change." I shook my head. "No, Tyler, you had your chance." He slumped in his chair, defeated. His mother sobbed beside him. "You can't do this to us," she cried. "We're family," I scoffed. "Family? You never treated me like one." After the divorce, I moved into a new apartment. I focused on my career and worked harder than ever. Without Tyler and his mother holding me back, I finally felt free. My energy returned. My happiness grew. I was living for myself again. Months later, I met someone new. He was kind, respectful, and independent. Unlike Tyler, he saw me as his equal. He cooked, he cleaned, he cared. "A relationship should be a partnership," he told me. I smiled, finally understanding what love was supposed to be. Looking back, I had no regrets. Tyler and his mother got what they deserved. They lost everything while I gained my freedom. My revenge was complete.